Broadcasting live from the land of 10,000 lakes. Your official guide to the Northwest Metro. The food, the people, the entertainment, and of course, the latest real estate news. Welcome to the Northwest Metro Real Estate Report. And now, your host, a licensed realtor helping families with their real estate needs in the Northwest Metro, Amanda Galindo.
Hey guys, it's Amanda Galindo here with Keller Williams Integrity Northwest. I am sitting here with Jeff O'Brien. He is an attorney with Lommen Abdo, and I actually feel like I'm kind of out of my league right now because I have like a local real estate attorney, celebrity,
Okay.
as seen on TV.
Maybe.
So excited that you are being interviewed by me.
I'm excited to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I mean, I see all your stuff on Facebook, and I just love your personality, and I feel like that's not a typical personality of an attorney.
That's why I do it.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. You know, we some of us are human and have senses of humor and have lives, and it's it's kind of become my little trademark of, if you could call it that, of being kind of an entertaining online. So.
Yeah. And you are known as the social media lawyer, too, that I read in your bio.
Yep.
So, awesome. So, tell me a little bit about yourself and where you live, kind of.
Well, right now my wife and I and our two canine kids live in Albertville. I'm a lifelong Minnesotan except for about 3 months I spent living in Washington, D.C. between college and law school. But grew up in Golden Valley, went to college at St. Thomas, so I lived over in St. Paul, worked for former U.S. Senator Dave Durenberger for a summer as kind of a research assistant before law school. Came back to William Mitchell, and then
Can I take a picture of you guys?
So I was born in Golden Valley. Went to school at graduated. Went to school at St. Thomas, which is where you see me always posting about the St. Thomas football team and teasing everybody else that went to all the local schools. Graduated from William Mitchell, got married, lived in Maple Grove for a little while, and then moved out to Albertville in September of 2006. So
Okay.
I've been there ever since right now.
So, what made you decide to come out to Albertville since you work in the cities?
Well, being a transactional lawyer, as long as I have a phone and a computer, I could pretty much work anywhere.
Yeah.
It was a particular neighborhood. We found the right house, the price we wanted at the right time, and it was the house we wanted at the time. And so the rest is history. And so I decided to kind of get involved out here because if I'm out here, might as well get to know people, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. Everything in my life seems to happen very organically, and there's you can always try to plan everything, but the best laid plans, and you just kind of got to go where life takes you.
Yeah. So, where did you originally grow up?
Golden Valley.
Golden Valley.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. So, how did you decide to get into law?
Again, very organically. I went to college at St. Thomas. I originally was going to go to St. Thomas thinking I was going to do a couple years and then transfer to the University of Minnesota and get an engineering degree because I come from a family of engineers, right? I have one uncle who's a lawyer, everybody else is, and even he has an engineering degree. All of them have engineering degrees. So I decided to go to St. Thomas, and I was studying there, and then about halfway through St. Thomas decided for various reasons, got interested in politics, that led to the law. St. Thomas started having their own engineering programs for undergrads, and I just stayed, graduated, went down the street to William Mitchell. And I was originally going to be a patent lawyer, and I took one patent law class, and I hated it. And it was the worst grade I got in law school. I think it was the only C that I got in law school. But I loved corporate, I loved real estate, I loved estate planning, I loved all those kinds of, I took business tax and enjoyed it. That's how sadistic I was. And so I realized pretty early on that I like doing deals, right? And it wasn't as much occasionally I'll go to court, but that wasn't memorizing the rules of evidence and all that kind of stuff wasn't my thing. I liked being able to do transactions, and it just stuck. I've been doing pretty much the same areas all my career, and So again, very organically how it happened.
Yeah. But it seems like you're a people person, so you like to work with people for the most part.
Yeah.
Instead of, just behind the scenes.
Yeah, I
type.
like to work with people. I think I have good relationships with, even opposing counsel on deals, because this is a small community of lawyers, and you see each other multiple times on deals, and so you have to be civil to each other, and you have to be able to know how to get the deal done.
Yeah.
I really don't like. Lawyers sometimes have to say no, but my goal is to figure out how the best way for a client to do a deal and get it done, and not be an obstacle in the way. And that's why I'm kind of like manic in terms of my schedule. Why I'm always working on stuff, whether it be marketing stuff or doing client work, because I don't ever want to be the reason that a deal is held up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that kind of lawyer. So I've actually had clients that come to me because their lawyer decided to take a 2-week vacation and they needed a deal done, so they hired me, and they've been with me ever since. So that's just my style.
Yeah, awesome. And so currently, your business is kind of split 50-50. And as people can probably hear in the background, there's a lot of noise going on. We're not at an attorney's office.
Right.
We're actually at one of your clients,
Yes.
Hayes Pub House.
That's right.
Which I'm excited because I've been wanting to get here for 2 years, and it seems like every time I've wanted to go, the place is packed, like jam-packed.
Yep.
And it's a local brewery here in Buffalo. And I love breweries, and I love real estate, and so that's why I love you. So, but tell me a little bit more about your real estate business and your brewery business and all that kind of stuff.
In the real estate, I've always done real estate from the very beginning. I'm actually in 2008, I was certified by the Minnesota State Bar Association as a real property specialist. If you do enough real estate and you take your continuing education classes and have references and everything, you can qualify to sit for an exam to be certified as a specialist. And I did it, and passed the exam. It was funny. I got pretty decent grades all through through school, and I passed the bar. But I hadn't studied for a test since the bar exam. And so when I got certified in real estate, my wife tells me I was a little bit of a monster for those couple months studying for the thing, because I hadn't. Back when I stopped taking tests before, that was my job. I went to school, I studied, and I took tests. Now I do it. I was doing other things and having to study again, so it was hard retraining myself. So I've sworn off. My wife hates this. I won't go to any. She wants me to go, get admitted in some warm weather state. But if it requires me taking a test, I won't do it, because I've sworn off tests. I will not take one ever again. So I've always done a lot of real estate stuff, but I've always also done business law, forming companies, drafting contracts, all that kind of stuff. And there's kind of a spot where they kind of intermingle, like leases and purchase agreements and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so, went through the boom, the bust of the real estate market, and I've also always worked with a lot of startup businesses, mm-hmm. and that's how the brewery thing came about, because we had someone join my previous firm with a brewery in tow that needed some rehabbing, and we had to find a new ownership group. And we learned everything we ever wanted to know about the legal end of a brewery. And once you do that, you're like, okay, this is how I think is, okay, well, how do we get more?
Yeah.
Right? And so this was about 2009, so, this is kind of early end of the craft beer boom, in this state at least. And 1 became 2, and 2 became 4, and and onward and onward. And a couple years ago, I wrote an article for a publication called The Growler on the 10 legal steps to starting a brewery. And it was basically my stump speech that I give to clients. And I said, I'm just going to give it away.
Yep.
And I've been told that it's their most popular article to date, and that was 3 years ago that it was written. And I still get referrals today from people, even this week. I read this article online, and can you help me?
Yeah.
And so that's how it went from 1 to, I think my assistant keeps a running tally of how many I have, breweries, distilleries, and wineries. I think we're at 42
Wow.
in 7 different states.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun business.
It is.
It's fun from a lawyer's standpoint. There are a lot of legal issues.
Sure.
You have to form a company. You usually have to you've got partners involved, so you have to do buy-sells. You either are leasing space or you're buying space. So you have to deal with that.
Yep.
You have to deal with the trademark stuff, and the trademark stuff is crazy right now. I mean, the Patent and Trademark Office, I mean, you can imagine how many breweries are forming in Minnesota,
Yep.
multiply that by 50, and then consider the fact that the Trademark Office lumps all alcohol marks together. So it's distilleries, wineries, breweries from all over the world filing here
Yeah.
that are competing against each other for the marks. So we frequently have clients that are on their second or third name choice because they can't get their first and second.
For the brewery.
Yeah, because of a conflict with someplace
Yeah.
with someone else. So you have the trademark piece. You have the securities issues with raising money. You know,
Yep.
that's one of the trickiest parts of all this. And then on top of all of that, you have all this crazy regulatory scheme with getting licensed with the federal government, the state government, and then if you're going to do a tap room like here at Hayes, you have to get a city tap room license. And some cities in Minnesota don't have them yet, so you actually have to help them get the ordinance passed,
Yeah.
and then get your license.
So can we help Monticello get something set up?
It's coming. There's a lot of cities. You know, this area has been. You know, you think about like kind of the boom really started in like northeast Minneapolis, and then it kind of migrated over to St. Paul. Then it starts to spread out to the suburbs, and now we're seeing it in quote unquote greater Minnesota.
Yep.
So we've got Hugs here in Buffalo. We've got Lupine to the south here in Delano. We've got we got one in Annandale, one in Big Lake. I'm working with guys in Northfield. They've got a client in Faribault.
Yeah.
They're all over the place now,
Yeah.
and so it's coming. More cities are putting ordinances on the books out here, and it's kind of sending the message to those that are interested that we're open for a brewery.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign. So I think for my advice to any city that wants one, first step is get a taproom ordinance on your books.
Yep.
And let them know that you want one.
Yeah. When I want to say that I did see something come through from one of the city council meetings, and I'm not 100% sure if that may have been it. Because I know that there's been a couple of breweries that have been wanting to open up in Monticello,
Yeah.
and for some reason it just didn't work out.
The more the better. I mean,
Yeah.
once you get enough in a little pocket
Yep.
where you can, and for Northeast, it's people want to do pub crawls, right?
Yeah.
If you get out here into Wright County, and you're talking about maybe somebody taking a day trip out here, and you
Yep.
could stop. You could start in Lupine and work your way north and hit a few of them and try a few. Keep a cooler in your car and
Yep.
throw a growler in each spot. And so there's a real collegiality in this industry, and it's when someone opens close by, it's not seen as a competitor, it's seen as good. Another one here, another reason, another way of enticing more people to come here and try our beer.
For sure. Well, they're so different too. Like Hayes is more of an Irish.
Yep.
And then there's other ones that are, they just come from different, like a German one or,
It's really fun because, I've got one like Lakes and Legends that's going to open up in downtown Loring Park. They are specializing in Belgian farmhouse ales. We've got another one that's going to focus on sour beers. So you're starting to get some real niches. I represent Hammerheart out in Lino Lakes. They do a little more potent beers. They're doing barrel aged. They're doing smoked beers. It's everybody's got their own style.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. So when I see you on Facebook and stuff, there's a ton of sports stuff. And I see twin stuff. I see pictures with Kirby Puckett, pictures with Carl Eller, the Vikings, all that
My
stuff.
parents, everybody takes a picture of their kids with their first food and everything. My parents I have a picture in my baby book of watching my first Vikings game on TV. My mother's holding me in front of the TV. The scary thing is, I think some of my clients were playing in the game.
Well, even today, what did you have on for yesterday, Throwback Thursday? What, like a costume that you had? It was some school.
Oh yeah,
It was like
I
Gophers
dressed
or
up as
something.
Lou Holtz for when I was 10 years old for Halloween, and I'm on Facebook they're tagging my friend Ricky Foggy, who was his quarterback. Hey Ricky, how did I do? I look pretty authentic, don't I?
Oh, funny. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, that just happened. I've always been a big sports fan.
Was it your dad or your mom? Or
Both. Both.
So your mom's like a really big.
There were times when the Twins have been down that my dad endures the games. My mother is the one that likes them more. No, it's been ever since I was a little kid. I've been a sports fan, and my first Vikings game that I remember was in December of 1980, and it's the one that Tommy Kramer threw the Hail Mary to Ahmad Rashad in the end zone, and they won. He bounced off 2 players, and Ahmad caught it, and they won the division. That's how I became. He was my hero.
Yep.
Seeing that, right? I had the number 9 jersey and everything, and so you grow up and you move on with life, and you go to school and you get degrees and you get married and buy a house and have a family, and you get the social media stuff, and I joined the Tommy Kramer fan club on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I meet one of his sisters and a high school friend. And they said, well, he's doing some stuff, and he doesn't really have a business lawyer. We like you, and you should meet him, and here's his email. So I'm emailing a guy that was my hero as a kid. And a couple nights later, I get a call on my cell phone from Texas, and it's him.
Yeah.
And that was almost 4 years ago now, and so that's how I ended up representing Tommy.
Yeah.
And then we added Carl Eller, and you just keep, at that point, it's, you mentioned to any former Viking or current Viking you meet, you got a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
So I also represent Joe Kapp, who was the quarterback on their very first Super Bowl back in 1969. And that's how it kind of started. So it was those 3. I've also done some stuff for Rob Stauber, who had been the Gopher goalie, won the Hobie Baker. And it just keeps growing and growing. I like it because these are guys that I idolized growing up, and it's fun to be able to help them, in real life,
right,
do things that they want to get done. And so that's, so whether it be helping them with a nonprofit foundation or a trademark issue, or they want to do a book, trying to help them get it published, all those things. That's just how it kind of happened. And it's funny. The funny part was I married a Packer fan.
Yeah.
My wife was born in Wisconsin. She was actually born in Green Bay. She moved away, but she was actually born in Green Bay. And so we have a pennant in our house. It's because house divided, and it's half Vikings, half Packers. So she's cool about it because she knows you have to be she'll have to she's had her picture taken with Carl Eller, and she's got her handful of Vikings that she likes, and I've got my handful of Packers. I mean, everybody asks me, what if you got a Packers client? I'm like, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I have no team loyalties when it comes to business.
Right. Oh, awesome. So if people want to get a hold of you, can they call you? Do you have a website, like any of that?
Yeah,
kind of
the
stuff?
best way to get a hold of me
way?
probably you can always find me online. My firm site is www.lommen.com, but I've also got JeffreyO'BrienESQ.com, which is a lot of my content and links to blog sites and stuff like that. And my contact info is on there.
Okay.
So go there, and you can also find me on Twitter, on Facebook. Just Google me, and somehow I'll come up.
You'll pop up.
Yeah.
Well, you're famous. I mean, you're pretty much
I don't
famous.
want famous. Maybe infamous. I like it.
Awesome. I'm going to post some links too, so in the email and on the YouTube link. So I am honored to have the opportunity to have interviewed you, Jeff.
I'm honored to be
Thank you.
interviewed, so
Thank you. And I hope you guys found a lot of value in the interview. And if you guys need anything, you know how to get a hold of me, and I'll post the links below for Jeff's contact information.